Not too bad though. I think I mean, it's nice to have a couple days at least. I'm hoping we get a little bit of skating while we're here. Pretty well. Yeah, I mean, they've been great. I don't know. I get nervous at premieres for sure, and so it's all kind of like overwhelming. But the response has been really nice, and I mean, this is only the second one that I've been to, but it's cool. It's cool to see the different reactions to the different tricks and parts and stuff like that. But it's definitely different in every scene. Well, this time around it was really much different because I wasn't poised to have a part, and it wasn't like a definite thing until close to the end. Really, like I was just kind of out with the guys a lot and just trying to film as much as I could, and so it made for a much different process. But in my mind, I was just personally driven to kind of like do as much as I could in my relative state right now in skateboarding. Honestly, it was cool because Jerry and Andrew and myself were doing a lot of the filming in LA while Figgy was doing most of his stuff down south in like Oceanside, which is like a few hours away from LA. Aside from like the trips we took together and stuff, we didn't really see that day-to-day process going on with Figgy. So it was fun to just like kind of imagine what he was doing because he's so fucking gnarly that I just knew he was down there just crushing shit. And so actually watching his part finished was one of the most amazing experiences because it was like all that I imagined and more. There were a lot of personal battles, but it wasn't all specifically with skateboarding. I think that was like kind of the payoff, or is still the payoff. And so I don't know. It's been a long and complex journey, and having a part in this video is like a total fucking success for me, and I feel like super grateful just to be amongst these dudes in this part, and like that it hopefully doesn't stand out as something that like doesn't fit in, because I think like all these parts are so sick, and it really is like at this point such a pleasure to like be in a video with these guys at that caliber. Absolutely. I mean, but it was more of just like providing a super solid example and showing like what's possible, and as far as like turning your life around, and as you age, what kind of like opportunities can open up when you kind of like change up your lifestyle, and also seeing like what could happen if you don't. And everyone's super different, but like I feel grateful to have seen that example from like Andrew and Eric and those guys, and seen what a turnaround they've made as a result of lifestyle changes. Yeah, I mean, at that time, we were all just like kind of getting on Emerica, and so it was one of those things where skating with Andrew all the time and him kind of like taking us under his wing, like already having a relationship with those dudes, and then at the time I was skating for City Stars, and then that kind of fell through, and a lot of people that were the common bond were leaving, like Paul and Mike, and all that happened. I don't know, I was just super lucky to be in the right place at the right time, where I was already like skating with Andrew and stuff like that, and so the opportunity was there. Those days were fucking radical, man. I don't know, it was just cool. Like, we were just little kids who were fucking skating and all skating together, and those guys were doing their thing over at City Stars, and formed a relationship with Kareem, and it was like not a super obvious fit for me to be on that team at the time. But that's the rad thing about skating, is like, because I was friends with those guys, it was like they co-signed for me and met Kareem, and it was like I didn't really fit the aesthetic of the team and stuff, but that was always something that he kind of liked and that I liked too, and it was just like driven by skateboarding purely. Man, that was just a fucking really fun time in skateboarding, where there was just like lots of opportunity to travel and stuff, and that was definitely my favorite part, was when it came time for like European contest season. We'd jump on a trip and like hit a couple contests in Europe, and then just sort of like stay film out in Barcelona and just kind of like float around. And there was like, luckily, budgets for it that at that point in skateboarding. So that was just like the heyday for me. Is like go anywhere and sort of just be on the road and see new shit. And like it was all super new to us too because we were so young. And it was like, I don't know, that was the best. You know, at the time I didn't really deal with it much at all. I mean, it was just a big accident and it happened. You know, you've heard the stories and stuff like that, but it was like one of many eye-openers that took me to like taking steps to make some huge lifestyle changes. And it was definitely like a very instrumental piece of that whole operation. But at the time, I just kind of like dealt with it like a skate injury or something, but it was quite traumatic. And so like, I think, I don't know. It was physically traumatic, but being a skateboarder, I was like, all right, let's just get through this. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was fucked up. I mean, it's tough to say, but you know, really, I feel like I'm steadily reaching a place, like physically and mentally in skateboarding, that I'm like still growing in a strange way. At 32, I'm like, you know, I'm definitely not getting any younger, but you get to the end of a project and your standards become higher, and you get to like, you're looking at tricks differently, and I just want to keep it going. I'm like psyched to have the Baker video coming up, and I'm just gonna start working on that immediately and hope that the old body holds out for that. But I kind of like look at this part, and I'm really happy for the whole journey and the way it came out. But you know, I'm still a skateboarder, so I look at it and I'm hypercritical of my skating, and I'm like, I could fucking do better. You know, not necessarily like go bigger, but just like continue to higher my standards and I don't know. I just love this shit. I love skating, and I want to just keep doing it as long as I can.